Hello, guys, and welcome back to Say More podcast. I hope guys are doing well today. Why do you always make me laugh?
Because you're so cute. I hope you guys are doing well today
I
because
hope
we are.
we are. I hope you guys are doing well because we are. Um, but yeah, I mean, how are you today, my girl?
Love, we are well over here, right? We are doing just well.
Yes.
I would say a little bit of a like 6 out of 10, but it's totally fine. After we talk together, I think that's the best way to start my morning. So,
Yeah.
you know, very grateful to start my morning with y'all. How are
Yes.
you?
Yeah,
How are
I'm
you?
good. I mean, we're 2 days away from leaving civilization, which is obviously I was just telling you, and she was like, "Do you want to talk about a podcast?" I was like, "Actually, yes."
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, 2 days away from. I say leaving civilization like it's really not
You're
like
so dramatic, but I
I'm
love it. I'm
so
like,
dramatic. I'm being
you're speaking
so
Lauralie right
dramatic.
now. You're
I'm so
speaking Lauralie.
dramatic.
That
I'm
would be
being so
so me.
dramatic.
So
It's
I will
just
be.
funny. It's just funny. I'm like I'm not. The thing is, for me, it's a case of like, okay, so we're going away for 2 weeks, right? And I want this 2 weeks for me to be able to switch off from work, not from, obviously, yes, from training to a certain extent, because there are like gyms there is a gym over there that I want to go to because it looks really cool. Because that's just in our nature, do you know what I mean? Like, we want to go and like enjoy what we enjoy in a different country because it's fun, you know? So, but that's not what the whole trip is about. So I'm not going to be like, right, I need to make sure that I train every single day because that's not the priority, but I would like to train. So that's not a priority. For me, I want to make sure I switch off from work for 2 weeks because I haven't done that in for like ever. But it's just obviously sorting everything out before you go is like the biggest thing. And I think also, which we were speaking about a second ago, was the actual idea of switching off for me is actually a lot harder than I thought. So I was like, it's so weird going from like being switched on for prep wise, doing nothing but like focusing on prep. Then obviously now I'm not on prep. All my eggs are like, okay, let's do work, 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 work. Now I'm like, okay, this is all focus is basically on my dad and spending time with my family and stuff like that. But for me to switch off, I'm actually really struggling with.
Oh my god! And I'm so thankful that you want to talk about it on the podcast and bring it, to the audience because I'm sure like there's so many people that can relate to you. And I think it's even. I mean, I think it's even harder for you probably because you love everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? Like you actually, you love training. You love, your work. Like you love your business, and you have such a big deep understanding that this is your baby. Like you build this from the ground up. Like it's literally your baby. So you're literally going away and like just to keep on like that whole dramatic thing, but you're leaving your baby for like 2 weeks, like unattended with like, I mean, you have great babysitters. Like, don't get me wrong. Like you have built to like have great employees and they're going to
I
take
love
over
that analogy.
and there's just not going to be like any fire alarm and you're going to be also reachable. You're not going in the
Yeah,
jungle, like, out of society. You won't. Um, I mean, thank God, like small step at a time. Like maybe
yeah,
one day you will need a full retreat where like we're putting our phone away and it's probably going to be the same more podcast retreat in Bali. Like I'm just putting out there. But
yeah,
with that being said, like for now, like small step at a time, like I think for you to actually fall, like giving yourself the opportunity to actually go and commit to that. Um, at first it's for your dad, obviously getting married, but really diving into like the opportunity that you get to like take off from work. So that's why it gets stressful because you commit to something that you've never really done for a very long time. So you committed to that, like committing to bodybuilding competitions. Now it's kind of like, okay, we kind of know, the struggle that is going to be, but you're going into a unknown struggle really where you're at in your space right now in your place. It's everything is so new and around, so you really don't know what to do, so you can only prepare at your
yeah,
best abilities to just feel at least at peace. Like when you're in the plane, like it should just be like, okay, you can fall asleep peacefully and just land over there and just have the time of your
yeah.
life. And if there's any fires, like you're just gonna do them while you're there. But I'm trying to understand, and I know like there's probably things that you can't really say about, but is there anything else? Like, because you're like, it's a lot, but what is a lot? Is it the lot of management of like things to get ready for with you being away? Because technically you
Mm,
work like 98% online.
yeah.
So what is it that is a lot? It's just like, is it a lot to like show up as a daughter for your dad and like managing that family side, or like what are you struggling with?
I think like I was saying to you before, it's more of a like the pre-stage things that I'm getting ready for. So like that pre kind of like anticipation of getting everything ready and getting everything done before you hit like show day. For example, it's kind of similar to that where I'm getting everything ready and prepared, and then when actually comes, it's actually going to be fine. Like I know it's going to be fine. It's like the pre like stress and anxiety of it more than anything. Like there's not actually much. I, I mean, I'm trying to tell myself that I am doing a lot. Don't get me wrong. I
Of
do a
course.
lot. I do a lot, and it's. I think for me, it's hard to manage everything at once, and then when I realize how much I'm doing and like I'm going here, 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 when you stop for like a second, you're like, oh my god, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm overwhelmed, I feel like I'm, doing too much. Um, that's kind of the feelings I've had kind of this week because I've put too much on my plate. Because it's very easy for me to just keep going because I'm like, I don't want to let anyone down. I don't want to not be able to pose this girl because, I want her to be able to get in with me before I leave. So I'm going to, take an extra hour out of my day to fit her in because that's just what I like to do and I want to fit everyone
Yeah.
in. And I feel like, because my sister actually kind of said this yesterday and she was like, do you feel like you're sometimes working too much to kind of avoid something else? And I was like, I don't think so. I don't think so. But like, what would I be avoiding? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't, in my head right now, I don't know what I'm avoiding it as such, but I just like to make sure that I don't know. I personally feel like I work a lot because one, I enjoy it, and two, I have big goals for where I want my work to set up. And I do feel like sometimes, well, I mean, I feel like when I'm relaxing too much, then I'm being not lazy, but not doing enough. So I feel like
I
almost like
understand.
I feel like I'm
You're
guilt.
taking a step back. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel
Yeah.
like if I'm not working enough, sometimes if I'm working like I can't find that level. Do you know what I mean? There's never for me. I never feel like there's like a level. If I do nothing in the day, like if I do like small amounts of the day, I feel like I'm doing nothing. So then I overcompensate and do more work.
Did did
So
you did you ever had like a breakdown from work, like a actual, how do they call it?
what, like a mental breakdown?
Not a mental breakdown. You know when the work become too intense, like you just it's a breakdown, but I don't know how they call it. They have a name for it. Holy shit!
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, the only thing I can think of is like like a mental breakdown or like a, but like, I don't know what about a work breakdown.
Oh shoot. It's
Where do
related to work. Like it's actually like when people, you can get off from work from that because people are just like, you work, 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 work. You know, like if you
what, like a
do
burnout kind of in a way?
a burnout, a burnout, a burnout.
Oh,
Yes, a
burnout. Okay,
burnout.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you ever like
I
experience
mean,
that? Did you ever happen to you?
no. I don't know. I don't think it's the thing is I don't think it's that far in terms of like I haven't reached that point yet, but I know in my brain sometimes if I do keep pushing it cuz like we've got a lot of a lot of things that I've got going on project wise that are happening this year and where I'll be and all that type of thing. And I'm just worried that I won't be able to give everything. So I have this thing of like I want to do everything, but I also can't. Do you know what I mean? Like there's only so much I can actually do because then it just becomes quantity versus quality. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
Yes.
so my worry is like I'm not going to be able to do everything. I'm not going to be able to do. It's a weird mix of in between because I'm like I want to do everything, and I do it in a way where I'm like, yes, I want the quality to still be there. So I kind of maintain that kind of, I don't know, level of, quality or whatever. But it is hard to do that the whole time. So then when I do that, it feels like it just is a lot to do. Does that make sense? Oh, I've got it.
It cut off. So when you do that, what?
No, it feels. I said when I feel like
You
there's. I can't remember what I said. I feel like I want to try and make sure that I have the quality of the work still there. So I feel like that's a lot to do. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes. So
to yeah, to held the standard that you have. I
yeah.
mean, but at the same time it's just hard because if so listen, if you do like if your sister asks you that, like, are you doing this to like suppress something, I mean 99% chances that you wouldn't know because you don't have time to actually think about if whether or not you suppressing something or not. And at this time I think with the vision that you have, like, it just comes from an understanding that, like, okay, this is my time for me to hustle because you do have a vision of the future. But it's also to not get caught up into that vision so hard that you just run through your days and just like
Yeah.
burn yourself out basically. And then when you and you're finally at your vision, which, babe, you don't have a set, you have a vision but you don't have a set goal, which like allows you, okay, like it's always like once you reach it, you want something else. So it's never
Yeah.
it's never an ultimatum where like, okay, like Phoebe, when I'm at that milestone, I'm giving
Yeah.
myself like a 2 week break because I'm gonna refuel everything. I'm gonna make sure that my quality is better. Like maybe you never tapped into like Phoebe 2.0. Like what does that even look like? You're already so great at what you do, and you know like you can deliver quality at a certain standard. Like even if you're like freaking tired and shit, and because you know that and you still know that, you just keep pushing and you push and you push until maybe, I mean, the burnout would be like like really bad, but at a point where like, okay, I'm not reaching my standard anymore, like I need a break. Do you have those like markers in you right now? You just like, I mean, you're resilient as shit too, and you're like so independent, and you have your own livelihood. So it's like it's a really hard balance, like to balance at this point right now.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like I don't set myself those kind of little markers. I do, but usually they're prep based versus work
Right.
based. Do you know what I mean? So like after prep, I'm gonna take this amount of time off, really focus on this, is this. But now I'm taking the rest of the year off. It's like, okay, when are those markers gonna kind of come in, or where are they gonna be in? Like, I actually really like that, to be fair, in terms of like, and that's why I said to myself I wanted to take these 2 weeks off, because, and it's nice because even my clients are saying like, I'm really glad that you're taking time off. Like, and it's weird because I would thought those are the people that would not be like, I didn't think that they would be like, oh, like, why are you, taking these 2 weeks off? I'm glad that they're saying, I'm glad you're taking 2 weeks off because you needed this for you. Like, I think that's really nice. But I think in my head I was like, I'm letting people down by taking 2 weeks off. Do you know what I mean? Which is
And
silly, I know, but
babe, I would argue that like you're doing it for your people more than and
yeah,
I think the people that are saying like thank you for doing that, they actually know how much you're going to benefit from you like taking rest off, because they're like, shit, I already have this amount of quality from her being like after the shows. I think if you look back at your life right now and you're like, you would have all the reason to be like flaky, to not be like the best businesswoman just because like it's so much on you like emotionally, but you still show up so much. So people are like, wow, I already have like, your 50% is 100% of someone else for
yeah,
sure. And I think people know that shit. Like if, we encourage that and we encourage like Phoebe as a human being and just like making sure she gets the rest and everything, she's going to come back like 100%. And even
yeah.
like if you were to come back at your 50% and you decide, okay, that is the amount of quality I just want to sustain for my job, and this is the amount of, that's going to be completely more than enough, always and forever, because you always have the best intentions, all the time. So whether you come off wrong for some people, well, see you later, and then it's going to make space for other people that are going to appreciate that. So I think it's never a loss. I don't know if you're going there like thinking you're going to lose something or lose people,
No,
or
no. I don't. It's not for me. It's not a loss. I think it was the initial thought of actually one switching off. Like, how is that gonna feel? Am I gonna feel like I'm stopping my goal and achieve, like stopping. It sounds so, again, it feels so dramatic when I say it, because I when I say it here, when I say it in my head, it sounds like, yeah, you're completely right. And now I'm actually speaking it out. Like, and I haven't spoken it out really at all much. Like, I've either like texted Max or said it to my friend or something like that. Like, oh, I feel overwhelmed and this is this. But like taking 2 weeks off is not going to do anything for my goal in terms of stopping it, like at all. It's not going to regress it. It's not going to, completely pause it. It's going to make me better as a human to be able to push forwards towards it. So I don't know why I'm so like stressed about it, if I'm honest. I think it's silly, but I do think that I'm glad that I kind of just addressed the feeling in a way to just say, yeah, I feel overwhelmed, I feel stressed, but I do think this 2 weeks is going to be good for me to just switch off and then come back better. But yeah, it's a lot. It's just, when it's just overload of emotion. Where
I just think I feel you, when you say those words like, okay, I'm gonna take 2 weeks off, and you just have this like little like compressing thing
yeah,
like right into your chest, and you just feel it right there. The thing is, the more you say it, how those 2 weeks, and then you're overwhelmed, and like those feelings, yes, like address them. But then for you, most importantly for you, is like to turn around, sit down, and like fact check your shit. Like
yeah,
go day by day. Like, okay, you're leaving Tuesday. This is what it's gonna look like. What like, and then to have like one day at a time, like on a paper, and just see it for what it actually is, and get your fact check. It's like, okay, maybe like the Wednesday. And I think, babe, if you're able to meditate like freaking every day, and I don't meditate, but I just think for you, like meditating there every day to just set grounds of like, okay, today is going to be a great day. Like, I'm here. I want to be, I want to be fully present. I want to breathe into every moment. I'm grateful to be, close to my family. Like just a little like 10-minute meditation, or like even 5 minutes where you just breathe and like set yourself intentions for the day is going to be the best thing for you, to not try to try to think about the past and this and that, like, and being able to enjoy it fully, because yeah, you just need a little bit of a fact check. Like nothing's gonna happen in 2 weeks. Like imagine our parents that didn't have a phone. Like when I know it's different generations,
I
but
know.
it's like they've made it through, girl. They've made it through with like maps and no GPS and no technology like whatsoever. Like now is
Yeah.
you know
No, I get it, and I think it's deeper than just having 2 weeks off. In like speaking about it more, I'm like it's probably deeper than taking 2 weeks off. For me, I feel it's just like, yeah, I think for me. I don't want to let anyone down. I feel like I'm stopping my goal. I feel like all these emotions
right.
that aren't, like you said, aren't valid. There's no facts behind that actually happening. It's all stuff you create in your head as a self-sabotage in a way for no reason. And I feel like that's something that I need to address as time goes on. But
It's just your personality, like if you didn't care, like you wouldn't go through that, and it's
yeah,
just because you care, and that's like the positive side of it. So I would just try to keep in mind like how positive this moment can be for you, and just the feeling of overwhelming, not to say it like 10 times during the day, and just stay stuck into that little like bubble
yeah,
of the chest, and just get outside of yourself, and just see the bigger picture, and just see how 2 weeks in a year calendar time, or 10 years calendar time, like it's nothing. It's like sometimes like getting out of yourself and seeing that you're literally a little ant into like such a big universe.
I
It's a
know.
little bit of a fact check moment where you're like, okay, like my problem is not that big of a deal, or like whatever happens on Reddit, like nah, like in one day from now, like in 2 days from now, it's never gonna happen again. Like it's just so minute, it's so minimal, and the things that you really need to take care of, and it's being present. And
Yeah,
that, I think, if you come back after those 2 weeks and you haven't been fully present, I think you're gonna be more upset,
yeah,
and
and
you're gonna
yeah,
actually resent yourself for not getting fact checked. But I understand like the apprehension, like the before right now, that's where the struggle is at.
yeah,
Because, and I mean, thank you for jumping on the podcast, because that's something I'm more on the schedule. But again, Phoebe won't let you guys down, because like we were like she I mean, and I'm always ready for whatever she's ready, but she was like, we're gonna film all those episodes to like show up on every Monday. And I mean, I'm glad we made an agreement to like,
yeah,
no, let's just
yeah. We're having,
You know,
that's something we actually do need to tell people as
we
well.
need to say.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was
know.
like, that's a good little thing to say. Okay, so, obviously, because I am away for 2 weeks, it's a lot
Oh
to
my god, you're
film.
getting anxiety already. You're already getting
I'm like,
anxiety to
oh
even
my god, I
say
feel
it.
like I'm letting people down. I'm letting people down. Okay, so, so I mean, so obviously I'm away for the 2 weeks. So I think we were looking into, okay, let's try and get, everything filmed and done and all that sort of thing. And that was the original plan, right? But it just hasn't happened. We both haven't been able to schedule that many episodes the last kind of 2 weeks to be able to do whilst we're away. So unfortunately, we are going to have, I think, when is it we're going to be away from? This will be the last episode until the 29th of April.
Yeah, of April.
Of April. So you've got 2 weeks break from us. So, which I
Babe,
know...
okay. Babe, you want to say, okay, let's say the whole truth, okay? The whole truth is this. You guys, first of all, the schedule, right? Like, what is required for the podcast is you guys see an episode of like 50 to 40 minutes, but before that, there's like the whole, she needs to send me the link, and then we jump on the link, and then, sometimes there's I want to say a whole block of like 90 minutes into our day, and that's not without us like talking about the topics and everything.
Yeah.
And then we have Patreon on top of it, which Patreon is great because we're able to like speak about topics. So we were able to film those episodes for Patreon this week because they're topic based. Now, when we were facing with having to film 4 episodes of 1 hour for the past 2 weeks or 10 days or so, we were like, okay, first of all, let's make it happen. We were scheduled to do that on Thursday. And then before that, we were like, okay, how is that even going to look, right? Like, is it going to even make sense for us? And I was like, Phoebe, I think our audience would appreciate that we actually take a break and not try to do 2 or 3 episodes. I know you guys love the consistency, and that's why we've been so successful at this podcast. I do think that. And I think Phoebe thinks that that's what it is mainly, is the consistency that we show up every Monday, because I mean, Phoebe is great at what she does with social media, and she kind of knows the intricacies of it. But I was like, and then you agree, obviously. I was like, babe, how can we provide quality content in one day of 3 episodes of 1 hour, even if we have topics, because of the way that we structured this podcast, and we want to have you girls like come with us into a coffee shop. Like, would you go to a coffee shop with a girl on the same day at 3 different coffee shops and just talk about different topics? Like, hey guys, here episode 47. Hey guys, here episode 48.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be raw. It wouldn't be real. It wouldn't be organic. And I think that's what we committed to show you guys, to be organic and real. And it wouldn't be real for us to just post every other Monday and just talk about something that is already kind of like désuet. It's like past or the same, or like, and trust me, by the 3rd episode, we would be drained and have nothing to tell you guys. So
yeah.
So with that being said, that's the whole, thought behind the process. It's hard, and it do takes time to think about it, because Phoebe and I, we love you guys so much. It's something that we really want to be consistent with, but we also want to keep it to the essence and the core of this podcast, which is we're all in this little things together. It's just honest and truth, and as human as it can be. And I don't want it to become a machine thing. I don't want it to become a thing to reach a certain amount of freaking, how do you say?
Views.
Engagement or views. Like, it's really not about that. It's about the community. And I think, just to say it out loud, that Phoebe is going on vacation, and I'm going to miss you, but I'm also like, I'm good with just taking like those 2 weeks for you, like knowing that you're going to be there at peace. And we put it out there. We need to share with you guys, upfront, that this is going to be our episode. It's not going to be the last one. We're going to be back.
No, it's not the last episode. Everyone's going to be I don't want anyone to freak out or anything like, oh my god, last episode. No, it's not.
I don't think they would freak out, but just, on Mondays, what is going to be? Monday next week and the week after that, babe, you know what we should do? Just like we're gonna post podcast. I'm gonna post podcasts that you guys can go watch and listen instead of us. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's do that. Or you can even like rewatch one of your favorite episode, and yeah, go rewatch one of your favorite episode in the next 2 weeks and let us know which episode was that. I think that would be a very fun thing to just assess, because Phoebe and I, we really wanted to, do a little review on our past podcast, because it's almost going to be a year since we started the podcast. I mean, yeah,
Well,
I
technically,
think when
actually, when we come back,
I
that
was
our
about to
first episode
say
back, our
that
first
is
episode back,
perfect.
our first
That
episode
is,
back is a year.
that is going to be so perfect,
Shut the fuck up.
actually.
No, it's
Right?
not.
Oh my god, Phoebe and her numbers now. She's
I
loving it.
love
She's
my
loving it.
numbers. I'm like, right, we have to do the same more event on episode 20 and 40, and it is a year. So we went live. Our first episode was live on the 1st of May of 2023. Obviously, the 29th of April, obviously, is like the 29th is in April, but that's a year, like, if you count it, because it's the Mondays. That's crazy.
Oh shit, yeah, your facts.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so yeah, it does. And how great of an episode it is going to be, because I don't, for a year, babe, there's not even a whole year we haven't skipped a week that we didn't speak to each other on the podcast. I mean, and obviously to each other, but it's been a year consistently, like we actually speak to each other like every day and on the podcast. So it's been a long ride, and I know it's wild, but those 2 weeks is going to be allowing us to just bring something so different for like, how are we going to call it? Like season 2? Like, what's going to happen? I don't even know.
I don't know, just keep it running, to be fair.
Keep it running,
Keep it running. Because, like, I don't know, it's not like it's obviously, our 1 year anniversary.
I know. That's so cool.
It's, even, like, now it's got me kind of thinking about reflecting throughout, like, this past year. Do you know what I mean? Like, the past year, all of, most of 2023, from May onwards to now, like, so much has happened in that time. Do you know what I mean? Like, so much has happened in that time. So it makes you kind of rethink everything, which, again, we can speak about on that episode anyway. But it's crazy to think, like, how much has, gone on. Like, it's great. It really is great. I mean, what would you say? Firstly, thank you for talking me all through all that, because that's actually made me feel so much better, just kind of, like, talking all of that stuff through, because I think feeling overwhelmed is something that is easy for me to do, and when you get in your head a lot, it becomes a lot. So firstly, thank you for that. Love you. And then secondly, with the whole, I mean, would you ever think that this would get this big, like the podcast, in terms of the community we've built, and because it was never initially for anything. We never caught up. We never we were always really bad with consistently texting and all that sort of thing. So we were like, God, we need to start a podcast so we just actually have scheduled time, as a joke. And a year later now, now it's actually happening. It's like, I mean, did you think it would kind of go this far?
I think I knew that the potential and of our relationship and what that could create would be actually really magical, and not just because of our friendship, but also like the way that we complement each other, but also our synergy together. Like it's so much things at the same time, but it really comes down to like the yin yang, and also like good timing in life, and I mean a bunch of other things. But I know how consistent you are, and I've seen you grow, and I know how you are. And I mean, absolutely not. Like, did I had a vision for the podcast other than just like having our 1 hour episode and just knowing I needed to commit to that? No, girl. And the fact that we had 3 events in like a year, like I don't think it's normal. I don't think it's like, I don't even think I could envision that.
Wild, actually.
It feels to me a little bit like how I felt about my, the last Arnold. It's one of those things that's just like, it happens and you're obviously like really grateful for, but the way to process that is just kind of crazy, because you've never had that vision to yourself, because it's one of those things that you do enjoy doing. I mean, I don't even I don't even think I had a hope that it would go somewhere. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like but because that's how I am. I just like, I do things that I just kind of love them. And maybe like I should actually hope and live in hope all the time. But I really didn't for that. I was just like, I'm having the best time with my best friend and I'm just like, you know,
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
And I think having you that had more of a babe that actually could be big. And I'm just like, well, okay, I'm following you. I'm following,
Yeah.
like, you're like, babe, you're like looking back and you're like, babe, that could be big. And you're like taking me with the hand. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
okay. And
Okay,
I'm
let's
just holding,
go.
and I'm just holding your hand. But that's how I am in my personality. And that's how you are
Yeah.
in your personality. So I'm just like, as long as we can keep that running, which is, it takes communication and honesty and transparency, and we both give a safe place for each other, we're ready to rock. And
Yeah.
that's what it actually been. And I love it because people ask a lot about our friendship all the time. And I think that's what it is. Just envision like Phoebe being like holding my hand, and I'm just like, okay, and I just take the hand and I just go
Oh,
with it because there's just, and you trust that I'm gonna hold hard enough. And I think that's what it is, right?
yeah.
You know that I'm gonna hold, and then I know that you got me, so we got each other, type of thing.
Yeah.
I think.
And I like that kind of relationship that we have. I think that's really, really special. And I mean, that in anything in life, you could translate that to anything in life. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a lot of things that, you know, have to be looked at that in that way. Like, you know, relationships for first and foremost, like relationships aren't a one-way street. It's a case of like, you have to trust the person's hand you're holding and the person that you have closely to you. And it's the same with work. It's the same with like competing. Do you know what I mean? Like it's everything. So I do think that one, thank you for trusting me, and obviously I got you always. You know that from the beginning. So it's a case of just kind of, you know, moving forwards from there. So I love that. I really do. But I mean, I love the fact that we've created this podcast because we have created a safe space for people to be able to kind of just feel like they can ask us questions. That, you know, we feel
Yeah.
open. They feel open to us, and we can just be friends versus just being like just either just athletes to them or just kind of just things to them, you know.
Right, or like
um
surface things, you know.
yeah, we always like to
Yeah.
dig a little bit deeper and stuff. So but yeah, I mean,
I
obviously. Oh, you go.
Yeah, I really hope so. Sorry, I'm cutting you off, but I really hope so. You know, running back on like what you said, saying that we created a safe place for the girls. Like, I really hope we're doing that by showing how, you know, as much real things that we can share with all of you. And, you know, we shared a lot more. I'm sure you shared a lot more than you've shared in the past. And
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an oversharer, but I just didn't have the platform to do so. So like, that's my safe place right here too. So, so I really hope that's what we're doing for the girlies, and just being a part of like some people cardio and some people journey, and like having them saying like, hey, you got me through a bad day. You got me through cardio, like got me through the day, or like you helped me laugh today, like just like, or you made me laugh today, or just like it was anything like that, that we just have an impact on by just from our relationship and doing what we love, is so wild to me. It's just so crazy to
Yeah, I
think
know.
that you can do that, and it's very powerful. But I do understand, you know, to circle back on how we started the podcast, it's a responsibility. And I think that people that don't aren't in the same place as us, as far as like public and just having platform and using our platform, maybe don't understand that responsibility. They just think it's cool and it's fun, but it is a responsibility because um, we want. I mean, if we create a safe place, we want to keep it. We want
Yeah.
to nurture it. We want to nurture it. We want to grow it in the appropriate way. We don't want to get, you know, our values or our principles, or someone saying that our podcast suck, to just like break it down, because our responsibility is to show up no matter what. And like you said, it's so crazy because it is a relationship. It is a better for worse type of thing. When we said, okay, we're going to start a podcast, it was a joke, but now we're kind of like in a marriage. Like we're kind of like in a freaking, bro, it's like through better or worse, Same Word Podcast is right here, you
Yeah,
know?
literally. And I love it. I
Me
honestly love it.
too.
I think that's the best way
Yeah.
to be, honestly. Like I think it's good that again, you're having it's going like you said, going back to what we were talking about before, having those commitments and having those kind of things that keep you kind of grounded is always good to have. But I do love that we're able to do that. I really am. Like
Yeah.
it's really good. But how have you been? Obviously, I know that whole full half was pretty much just about me feeling overworked. But I mean, how have you been? Obviously, you're 5-ish weeks post show. Like, what's life looking like for you at the moment? Like, what's going on? How have you been? How's life?
You're so sweet. You're so sweet. And Phoebe is gonna stay Phoebe. Phoebe cannot be the center of attention for more than, actually we had you for like 20 minutes. So I'm very
I know. I
glad.
was
Thank
like,
you very
okay.
much.
I was like, okay, this needs to stop now. Bye.
It's progress. It's progress. Because before you wouldn't even like go on the podcast if I was to tell you
No.
like, hey, let's talk about it. So, no, babe. I mean, for me right now, I'm really taking day by day so much, and you know, it's a lot.
Yeah,
Like it's a lot. I mean, babe, it does become a lot.
bro.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm honestly like that is my word. Like when you say it's a lot, girl, like the way that I relate with this word, and like the word
it's the
is four
way, it's the
letters, right?
feeling,
But
it's the
bro, it's
feeling.
like yes, it's like when we say a lot, y'all, it's just because we don't even have like I don't even have time in the podcast to just tell you how much the
Yeah,
word a lot actually defines and what underlines under the word a lot.
yeah,
So a lot means a lot of calls, a lot of meetings, a lot of emotional distress, a lot of emotional questioning, a lot of questions that are no answers, and you're like waiting on the answer. A lot of freaking what's this, what's that, what the past, the future, what the fuck is going on type of shit.
yeah.
So yes, it's a lot. So I'm with you on that 1,000%. With that being said, taking one day at a time. Uh, I do am though kind of like in right now, I'm going to Maine next weekend, and I just want to get a little bit more in my routine and just making sure I log in those moments with myself. And normally I do that in the morning a lot, and the morning is very precious for me because I do set those intentions, and it's not meditation, but you would look at me in the morning and you would think like this girl is meditating straight up. So I put my music on, I have my little morning routine that just helps me to set the tone for the day. And when I don't have that, which I didn't have this morning because we had to discuss something, and I have some like due dates of like big decision that I need to make, and I didn't have that this morning for some reason, and it really rocks my whole day. So like right now I'm just like I want to go back home and like start my morning again because I just feel kind of my intentions for the day aren't set, but we got to keep doing it. So with that being said, today is today. I'm gonna make the most out of it. I do have opposing clients, and then after that, just a ton of responsibilities. There's a lot to do, like you said, but I'm gonna sit down and kind of put it on a list and then prioritize and just okay, what's urgent and what is not urgent. So everything is a priority, right? But there's different degrees of
Different degrees.
urgencies. Okay, this needs to be targeted like tomorrow. You need to make a decision. So this is the work you need to do. So that decision that I need to make tomorrow, I'm probably going to work on it for the rest of the day. And I mean, it's crazy, but that I'm going to make decision for tomorrow is like my whole past 4 weeks of just calls and then thought process and then calls with this, and then you receive that I talk to you, then I change my mind on something, I'm like shit, I need to reassess that. So it's always like a constant, and having to make that decision or that ultimatum, which for you is your trip, is a certain ultimatum in your life that you need to make certain decisions like that are harsh and just harder than your regular decisions. Now I need to make it harder, like more, I have an ultimatum, so like a decision to take, which is going to cancel one another. So that's in the position that I'm in right now. And it's for a sponsorship. I can put it out there. It is for a sponsorship, but it's a big, freaking huge decision. And um, obviously, I'm blessed because I do have the opportunity to have a decision between two. And but dude, it's freaking a lot, and that's just one thing. And I probably have like 10 other things, and then personal stuff, and then my family, and then travel, and it's just a lot.
Yeah.
But great stuff. And I mean, we have great opportunities with the podcast, which I'm glad that these things are happening a little bit later in the year. But right now, my whole year is planned. And like I said, by July is go time. People are already
Yeah.
trying to book something for July or talk to me about July. I'm like, I'm locked in prep. It's a no automatically. So I'm still grateful to have that competition in my life because it allows me to put kind of a stop to everything. But thank God I'm not prepping right now. I mean, not thank
Yeah.
God because
No, it,
it,
it
it
it is good because at certain points in life, I do think that like we said, we need to take that time for priorities set in other things. Like you could have competed the whole year. You could have gone and done like the rest of the year, but there were other priorities that you said to yourself in other episodes and just in general that you wanted to tick in terms of, I want to make sure that I can show up for this in my life as
right,
well. If you had prep, you would not be able to do that. Like, and that's,
right,
it's priorities set in different areas. Like, you want to be Miss Olympia this year, you need to take time off, you need to build yourself up, you need to show up as Miss Olympia, like, this year for yourself, and then get
hmm,
into prep in July. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
putting what you want in front of you a little bit more so versus it being like, okay, yep, let's just keep going, let's just keep doing this. And it's easy to do that, it's so easy to do that. And no, that's not also me being like, if you do that, that's wrong, because it's not. But you're at a different point of your life where there are other things and other goals that you want to hit before you then go into the second part of the year for competing.
right, yeah.
So
It's different seasons, and the thing is, like, it's so crazy to me because sometimes you get into like a bodybuilding season, right? And you compete, like you've done it, and sometimes you question yourself, and sometimes in those moments, like it happened to me. I would, bodybuild, and I'm like, why is people not reaching out? Or like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why do I don't have, people asking me to go here, go there? But because you're competing, bro. And like people know you're competing. So of course they're not reaching out to you,
yeah,
but I had those like moments that I couldn't, and then now I'm open and I can't even keep up. I'm like,
yeah,
but I want to do all the things, which is, it's so great. But you need to allow yourself to have season in your life where, okay, you're a little bit more open, you're a little bit more restrained, and then be harder on those boundaries. And I think instead of being open all the time or closed all the time, because then you're not serious about either of those. So I think even your trip, like you need to treat it as a whole season. I know it's like, it's silly to say like 2 weeks, but it's going to be the season of a different Phoebe. You're going to be a different Phoebe for a little bit, which is great because you're going to tap into it. And if you tap in fully, damn, like, I mean, you're going to attract like different things. You're going to be on different vibration, like fully. But your chakras are going to be like, no kidding. Your chakras are going to go crazy. But you're
oh
going to attract different things if you
yeah,
allow yourself. But if you go as Phoebe, like the stress and the work, and then you're looking at your phone all the time, you're not going to be on the same vibration and be able to attract like different things. That's just like a relaxed Phoebe, like a loving Phoebe, a present Phoebe. Like it's going to be different. So
yeah,
I'm
I
sure you're going
agree.
to do a great job to it, because I think your growth from the past year is phenomenal. But it's hard because it's not something that you really know or you've been able to tap into. It's
No,
brand new. So I think meditating is a good tip for that. But overall, to answer your question, because obviously I'm so far off, I'm doing good, babe. I'm doing good.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Okay, I mean, one thing I want to like, and obviously we can end this podcast on a good positive note, because I feel like we've just, which everyone has this, and I know everyone has this, because I honestly feel like sometimes I feel crazy when I'm like, I'm going through this. They're like, yeah, I'm going through this, and I'm like, oh, like everyone goes through shit, duh. Like obviously, do you know what I mean? But
Yes.
the good thing about it is it all leads to good things. Do you know what I mean? Like my friend made that very like,
Preach.
you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
my friend told me that, the other day. She was like, regardless of all the stress you have going on, it's good stress that is leading to amazing opportunity. So anyone that is listening that kind of has that, oh my God, it's a lot. It's even if it's on a smaller scale, do you know what I mean? Like if you feel overwhelmed in any shape or form, like it's all if from that, the overwhelming feeling is gonna be positive things to come out of it. Do you know what I mean? Like all the things that we're stressing over, yes, they're stressful and they're hard to go through, but after all of that, like the latter end of it is gonna be something really really amazing. So always remember that in like when you're going through, because literally yesterday got back from a show and there was so much to do and I was like, oh my God, I want to like cry. I was like, I don't
Oh
feel great.
fuck
This
yeah.
sucks. But today I got it all done and I'm like, that was fine. And it feels great. Like it's fine. Like it is fine. I think in the moment you can't see the light. So it's a case of just keep just tunneling forwards, get it done, and that feeling will fade. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, is there any advice that you would say that you would want to give for anyone that has like a lot on their plate or feels overwhelmed or anything like that?
I think what you just, shared with us about you coming back from the show and just be like, holy shit, I have so much to do. Shit, fuck, fuck, fuck. And you just want to cry, but you just didn't cry and you actually made it through. When I say beautiful things happen when you don't give up, or like if you just keep going, just one step in front of the other, because the light is right there. It might take a little bit longer. You might get hurt on the way, but dude, if you keep fucking walking and giving everything you got, you're gonna look back, babe. And now, whenever that happens to you again, you're gonna be like, dude, I already done. Like I've done this shit before. Like I'm not. It's not gonna give you the same emotion or the
Yeah.
same emotional distress, because you're gonna relate that to a you're gonna relate that moment to something you've already achieved in the past, and that's gonna be a fact in your book. So you're never gonna feel that same overwhelm again, or you might feel a little bit, but it's never gonna be to a point where you're gonna cry, and then slowly you're gonna do it again, and they're gonna be like, so then you can tackle those events in a very positive. You might even do what you did yesterday. You might even do it in your sleep, or like even full on meditating and full on namaste, like doing yoga while you're doing it,
Yeah.
because you're so fucking calm about it, because you're like, I've done this shit so many times before. I'm good now. And that is just, that's how you build resilience, and that's how you build discipline, and that's how your discipline becomes more and more. It's a muscle, dude. Like discipline is a muscle, and you need to train it. That's all I'm gonna finish on.
Love that. That's a good one. Okay, well, thank you guys for listening. Please make sure you do all the fun things, like, subscribe, comment. It means a lot. If you haven't already, sign up to our Patreon. Like we said, we are taking 2 weeks off now from our podcast that goes up on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube for 2 weeks. And then we'll be back on the 29th for our year anniversary. But whilst we're away, we will have a few episodes going up on Patreon. So if you aren't signed up already, please
Every
head over
Thursday.
there. Yes, every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. But sayonara for everyone. We will see you soon. And we're excited to come back. It's going to be so weird, like coming back, and it might even need to be a 2 hour episode. I'm not going to lie.
Dude, shut up. You just said that. I was
I,
just going to say that. It's
it
going to
might
be
have
a
to be
fucking 2 hours.
a long ass episode, because I'm going to need to catch you up anyway. And then I'm going to need to catch up everyone on listening. So I think, yeah, it'll be fun. So we love you guys so much. Thank you always for watching. And we will see you in 2 weeks.
Babe, let's try to journal. Okay, let's try to journal. You and I for the next 2 weeks. A little bit of a journaling thing, okay?
Yes.
Just
okay, I love that.
because let's bring a fucking dope ass shit episode, because that's
like,
what we do.
We can like type, and then we could go through our journal together on the podcast.
I don't want to miss a thing of your trip.
Yeah.
Like bring
Us.
us with you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Bring us with you.
That's when you know it's time to go. That's when I'm losing my English. So it's only 11 a.m. in the morning. I'm done.
I'm done. Right. We love you guys. See you soon.
Love you guys.